a bunch of you guys going, yeah. I love that too.
We were also, you know, it kind of reminds me of that Kiss movie. What was it? Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
You know, so period, and so about that community between, you know, the guys and going to see shows and that whole thing that we did, you know, we've always done and we still do, you know, as we even though we, you know, you're out there playing with freaking one of the best metal bands in the world. You played Wacken Festival and all that, or what do you, how do you say, was it Wacken?
Wacken, yeah.
Wacken with a V, okay. Or said V, okay. Yeah, that's amazing, man, that, you know, you went from little old Decatur all the way to Wacken to play.
Yeah.
Play with
it is pretty wild, man. I still look at it and go, how did this happen again? How did I get here? I ask myself that all the time.
Somebody said to one of these things, somehow I lost, it was this guy named, you might know him, Link Denton. You know Link? Link plays for Jeff Cook and play with Restless Heart, and he's from Nashville. And
gotcha.
he got to play with Brian May at the James Burton thing.
Oh, wow.
He got to back up Brian May on that, okay? So Link kept saying to me, he goes, somebody lost a bet somehow. I'm here. Somehow I'm
That's
here
hilarious.
with Brian May hanging out.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Did you get to play Brian's guitar?
How the hell I get you?
Did you get to play Brian's guitar?
I got to hold it.
Yeah.
So we went to
Vegas.
me and Ryan went to Vegas to the residency because our friend Tyler Warren plays in Queen.
Okay.
He's a percussion player and drummer with Roger. So he got us into one of the residency shows, and luckily our schedules worked out. We went out there to the show. And so, of course, right before it, I get a text. I'm like, meet me over here. So he gets us back real quick, and we meet the guitar tech. We put on the Red Special. He's got a few of them.
Right.
The one. And so we all hold it. We're just like, I don't feel good about holding this. You know, it's like, but take a picture. And his tech was very gracious. And we all got, he gave us his actual guitar picks, which is a
sixpence.
Sixpence, yeah. So we all got those. That's what he has. He has a little little thing holder on his strap, and those are all in there. He doesn't use guitar picks. So we got a couple of those, and I got to hold the Red Special. If there's a guitar that's kind of like Eddie's stuff, that's because Brian and his dad built that thing.
Right.
And and oddly enough, it's like, Rose, according to his tech, that was the one, and he still brings it out on tour.
Right. So was it heavy?
I can't remember. It was so quick, and I was so in awe that we were actually like back there.
Right.
Because it's Queen, and that's a whole other level.
Right.
That they're one of those bands that aren't people, you know?
Right.
And holding that guitar, and it was just like, what? Picture here, Ryan, hold this thing. It was just that was just an incredible experience that Tyler made happen for us. So that was super cool.
Yeah. When Link was on here, he said that Brian was playing 25 to 6 to 4 in this thing.
Oh, wow.
And then he didn't know some of the changes. And so Brian was looking at him like, what are the changes? So he's screaming the changes out to Brian a couple times during rehearsal.
Oh, hilarious.
And then he said during the show, and there's a video of it coming out, that Brian turns around and I've seen the video, and he's showing him that he remembered the chords.
Oh, funny.
And there's pictures of Link with Brian and all that on stage, and he said it's so surreal.
I remember.
He was like, it was so surreal, man. I was like looking, and he was like us. He's like, a huge fan of Brian's, and here he is, eyeball to eyeball with the guy, and the guy's showing him like, I remember this part you showed me.
That's really funny. One of the funny things Gene would do when we'd be doing Gene shows, and if he liked to play around a lot more on bass than he does with Kiss, like he will throw in licks and stuff, and he'll do something. He'd look over at me like, did you see that? Did you hear that one? He would do that a lot. He had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love those Instagram posts you guys did with Gene. You know, he would do all kinds of crazy stuff with you. I think he just liked to, hang with you guys. You know,
Yeah, he liked it. It was a lot less work for him to prep for the show. It's like whatever he put on that day, that morning, that's what he wore to the show. And he'd hang out with us, and we traveled with him. We ate breakfast at the hotel with him. We had catering at the at the venue together. We'd eat dinner on days off together. It's like we were with him, all the time. There wasn't a crew. It was the five of us touring together. So, Gene and the four main guys.
That's just to you and I, the Kiss, Ace and Gene. I mean, these are like, they're like Eddie Van Halen stature to us. I mean, yeah. How did you find, practically living with Gene Simmons on the road?
He was great. And he was the easiest hang, man. He's so cool. Really, it's still mind blowing that like those 2 years we got like close. We got to spend that much time with him, and he's just the easiest hang. He's the coolest hang. Great conversationalist. I mean, the guy knows a little bit about everything. Mm-hmm. Loves telling stories, loves talking, loves answering questions. Like we talked a lot about, I kind of asked him a lot of questions about copyright and trademark law, and he probably could be a trademark lawyer. The guy knows so much about it. Just I was trying to ask him, business questions, money questions, because I'd never been around somebody that successful and that famous and that much of an icon. And I was with him on a daily basis. So just hearing how and seeing how he reacts to things and his first response to things was very eye-opening to me, because for somebody that thinks that way, for me, it was on a business sense, and just a daily thing with he gets hit by something or somebody asks him a question, what his first response, what his first reaction is. That was very cool to me. Very cool to me also that I never heard him complain one time. Mm-hmm. Not like, hey, fix this monitor. That's not complaining. That's like, this isn't right. Fix it. Sure. Like complaining about a long day or complaining about a meet and greet or complaining about one thing. Never heard him come close to complaining one time. He's so grateful. And he's not putting on. He's the most grateful person. That I learned a lot from that. So I try not to now, because it's like I asked him, I think me and Jeremy asked him, it's like, do you ever get tired of meet and greets? And he was like, never, not once. He's like, every person waiting to meet me out in that line is one reason why I get to have my life the way I want it. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'd never, ever, ever get tired of it, because he meets and greets for a living. Sure. We were doing these shows in connection with the comic convention where he was doing that all day long. He'd come to sound check with us, do that, eat dinner, go do it again, and then do the gig, and then go back to the hotel. The guy never stops. So his work ethic is incredible. His attitude towards the work is what's incredible, because he doesn't begrudgingly go to any interview. Like if you meet and greet or interview, if you're meeting him, he's happy to be there. Mm-hmm. He's happy that you're there to meet him. He really truly is. But yeah, it was just cool being with him, and it not only take the hero aspect out of it, because he definitely is, but just the cultural icon aspect of him and the successful element. It was very eye-opening and cool to see how somebody like that reacts, and just exists on a daily basis. It was pretty cool.
Right, that's pretty cool. Like we've grown up with the makeup, and grown up with that face, grown up with his image all over the place. I mean, and to, like you said, have the opportunity to learn from somebody who's had experiences most people in the world have never had.
Never going to have. Yep.
Never going to have. Never. The miles he's traveled, the amount of people he's met. I mean, one of the great things I think about what we get to do is we get to interface with so many different people. Yeah. And it's not like you said with him. It's every person has a value that they can give. There's something you can learn from everyone you meet.
Absolutely.
You go.
Yeah, totally.
Some of the most amazing things that ever happen are people you don't expect. It's just
And just for me, traveling around the world, I've been fortunate enough to travel on somebody else's dime, and actually get paid to do it. And that's been it still is my favorite thing, is traveling and playing internationally. And I love walking around the whatever city I'm in and trying the local whatever food or whatever drink it may be, and that I love that aspect of it.
That's like it's such a gift, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I'm so lucky to be able to do that. I love the exploration aspect of it, and seeing something that you haven't seen, and trying something you haven't tried before, meeting a new person in another country and or wherever down the street, doesn't matter. It's
and you stay in touch with probably some of those people.
Sure, yeah, and you meet fans that become friends, and then you get to see when you do travel around and in different parts of the world. I have friends in different parts of the world now that I get to see when I go to Sweden. I have a whole slew of friends in Stockholm now that I get to go see, and different places. You meet up with people, and it's awesome. That's my favorite part about it.
That's fantastic, man. Ace Frehley, when you worked with him, what's funny is how the paths of people in this business cross. You guys rehearsed at my friend Bill Goldstein's warehouse down in
at Walt Grace Vintage. Yeah, for the cruise. Sure.
And I totally have kind of happened into Bill because Bill had seen a video of mine of some young girls who were playing at the NAMM show, and they were playing one of the Strut songs, Could Have Been You, and I had shared it, and Bill shared it with Luke from the Struts. Yeah, and then he freaked out because there's a bunch of little 12-year-old girls, right, or young girls, 10, 12. And so anyway, when I was down that way, I got into Walt Grace and had a good time talking to him. And through him, I met Mark Wise. And and he mentioned that you had been down there rehearsing with Ace. And, go back to Ace, and we'll finish with Ace. I mean, this guy, when I was a kid, and you opened up that fold on Alive 2, man, and that Les Paul and that guy, man.
Yep.
He was like the first time I ever even thought of electric guitar, It was like, what is this and this guy? And so what was it like having some time with Ace?
It's killer. It's different situation traveling with Ace versus Gene. We don't really see Ace that much. Ace travels separate. But yeah, getting to hang with them. One really cool, that was a fun rehearsal down in Miami. Another fun thing that we did was at one of the KISS Expos in New Jersey. We played the entire 78 solo record in order, top to bottom.
I think I remember that.
And so we rehearsed for a couple days at this really, really, really small room at a studio right down the street from the expo in Jersey. And we each had one half stack, and we're in there playing for a couple days, and getting to do that and play in that small room. Everybody's crammed in there. It's loud as hell, and doing those great tunes, some of which he'd never done before ever. And reworking up some of them too. And, doing those and really working hard on getting the tones right, getting the parts right. And then also when we'd get done with the tune, Ace would tell the accompanying story along with that song. And those were really, really, really cool and really, really fun. He remembered some choice moments about the recording of those songs. And it was, that was a lot of fun.
Man, I loved New York Groove. I think I kind of favored Peter and Ace's solo albums. I guess I just like the guitar player and drummer aspect, I guess. But
sure.
Yeah, but I mean, New York Groove, I played that in bands, and it's fun tune to play.
It's great. All those songs were so much fun. I was hoping that some of those would make their way into the regular set and stay. I mean, actually, really, we could play that whole record because it's 35 minutes long.
Rip it out.
You could do that. We already play a few of those every night. New York Groove, obviously. We do Rip It Out. We do Snowblind a lot. So technically, we could throw that in the middle and play that whole record as the centerpiece of the show, and then play the other hits that you want to hear. Hope maybe we will. But that was really cool. As Ace is who made lead guitar make sense for me. That was when I finally realized that, oh my God, that's pentatonic scales. That's what I'm learning. And because I was getting frustrated playing the scales going, this sounds nothing like Eddie Van Halen. What am I doing wrong? And then I heard Ace and it was, my ear picked it out, and it wasn't learning out ear. And I'm like, well, that sounds familiar. And I realized that's what I was learning in guitar lessons. So I proceeded to learn, again, going back to guitar tunings and stuff. I learned deuce in A flat. I didn't know that they tuned that out. I didn't know you could do that. Right. So I played. That's weird. Playing it in A flat. That's weird. Right. And then I did learn all of Alive. Probably a half step off, but I learned all the solos in Alive. But that's who made me realize that lead guitar was like this, and so he was it.
Right. Well, I think he was like our generation's Jimmy Page.
Yeah, he definitely was.
And obviously he was influenced by Jimmy Page, but
huge Page guy.
But yeah, he was the vibrato and the whole. There was something about Ace when his vibrato and his just touch. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't real flashy, but
not flashy at all. With Kiss, if the music had been too flashy, the show wouldn't have worked, because the music was so basic and bare bones, meat and potatoes, rock and roll, and the show was the flash. It went well together. The way Paul Stanley, you get the steak and the fiddle, with Kiss, because you do get that meat and potatoes, basic rock and roll, but then you have all this flash, cake and icing on top. Yeah. It was a good package to go together, because Ace's playing was like that too. Very basic rock and roll, very memorable solos. I mean, all those, if you're playing a Kiss song, you play the solo the right way. You play the solo the way Ace played it, because it's as much of a part of the song as the verse is.
They're beautiful compositions of pentatonic,
They really are.
They really are. And they're like textbook. They are so, textbook blues scale.
And it's easy to learn for a kid. And when you're 12, 11, learning guitar, or whatever age you are learning guitar, and you can play a solo that you hear on a record, that's a really big confidence booster. That's a big deal for a kid. It's when I was doing it live. That was an important thing, really big deal when I learned those.
Was there a song that turned you, like, all of a sudden it clicked for you like that, where you went, oh, I finally learned a full song?
Deuce, okay. Yeah. Just completely. That was the first one. I realized it was pentatonic, and I went, oh fuck, I can play this. Yeah, it was Deuce, totally.
My first song was off of not Black Sabbath, Speak of the Devil.
Yeah,
but it was Paranoid off of that, which was
off of that one,
which was Brad Gillis, right?
Yep.
And so when I met Brad Gillis, I told Brad Gillis, I said, I learned Paranoid, my very first song, from you.
Yeah. Oh, funny.
What's funny about that is Joel Holkstra learned his very first song, Paranoid, from Brad Gillis too.
Oh, really? Oh, no way.
And then ended up in Night Ranger.
Yeah. When I told Ace, before we had the gig, Ace played with Gene in this big charity show in Minnesota. And so we're just ecstatic that we finally met Ace, and we all brought stuff to sign, and he's super nice. And we got done, and he's walking to the car with Gene, and and his tour manager, who's now our tour manager, PJ. Wow. He made sure that we had some time with Ace, and he was super nice and signing stuff. And I said, man, you taught me how to play lead guitar. And he goes, no, I didn't. I go, no, man, you really did. And he goes, no, I learned from Jimmy Page, Pete Townsend, Eric Clapton. He's doing his thing. He's shoving it off, him. But no, man, he did. He taught me how to play, really.
He taught us all how to play. I mean, when I think of Ace, I think of that I say mid fret, 7th fret bend with the feedback happening and just searing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That is Ace, man. He could hit one note, play that vibrato, and have that sound, and it's Ace Frehley, man.
Yeah.
That is
totally.
That is like him and Eddie. Those guys. They're like the voices of Steve Perry or somebody that just stick out like a sore thumb.
Yep. There. When you're standing on stage, and Ace's cabinet is right next to me, and he's on stun volume, and you hear those solos coming out of the cabinet. That's a different thing than hearing it at a show, because you're not, of course, I'm taking anything away from the concert experience. When you hear it at a concert, it's going through a microphone, through a cable, through a all the way to the board, through EQ strips and channels and effects and everything. When you're hearing it from the cabinet, that's a special thing. I remember when we did that gig with him in Minneapolis before we had the gig, when he started Deuce, or no, when he started Parasite, I ducked down and put my ear to the cabinet when he's playing Parasite. And it was just like god awful loud, but it was just like, it was like, wow, that's it. That's really it.
Right. I don't care if I go deaf. This is my only chance.
This is my only chance. We didn't know we were going to play with him. We had no fucking idea. So yeah, man, that was a special thing. And then now when we play Deuce every night too. And now when he does that solo, I always back up, right, and just watch it, because he always nails that note perfect. It sounds like 75. Wow. So that's always a really, really cool moment every night. And when it was one of those things, I'm like, watching him going, it's another big, how the hell did I get here moment,
Right.
That's cool.
So for you right now, what do you got going on to close up?
I got an Accept show coming up outside Chicago this month in St. Charles. And then Ace and Alice Cooper tour. Starting mid-September all the way through end of October. And then we get home from that. And then Ryan, Jeremy, and I take the Talisman on the Kiss Cruise. And that goes through early November. So, and right now we may have some Ace stuff in November. Nothing confirmed yet, but they're looking at some dates in around mid-November for that. So yeah, I'm not sure how far into the year that we'll go, but yeah, fingers are crossed right now, man, that the Alice Cooper tour, I've heard nothing about that going, not happening. Mm-hmm. So apparently the Kiss Cruise and the Ace and Alice tour are both full speed ahead as of today. So
man, sounds like fun.
Really hoping that goes down, man. That's going to be a good 5 weeks.
You're a lucky dude. I got to say that.
I definitely am.
I'm telling you, you're a lucky dude, man.
I definitely am, man. I'm extremely cool. I wake up every morning and I'm so grateful, and I have fun going to the grocery store, man. I just have a lot. I got it good. I got a good life.
Well, I'm going to let you go and let you do your rest of your day, because we could stay here all freaking day and night.
We totally can, man.
But you know what? Jeff. I've got in my plans to do something around, I don't know when you're going to be available, but maybe we can work something out where we do a group thing.
But dude, please, yeah, man. Anything you got, please let me know. And if I can make it work, I'll make it work.
I'd love to have you with part of a group thing with maybe Greg and some other folks and do a.
I just met Greg for the first time in person this past weekend.
I know. I saw that he was over at the expo and you were there too.
Yep, got to meet him. Got to meet Matt Wake for the first time. So me and Matt, Matt and I spoken on the phone, countless times now, and finally getting to meet those guys. So it was really, really fun.
It's crazy, man. The webs we weave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Dude.
Absolutely.
Well, you have a great rest of the afternoon, man, and it's good to see you. Next time you're down home, look me up, and we'll get in here and make some noise.
Will do, man. Good. Always good to see you, Jeff.
All right, buddy. Have a good afternoon, man. Thank you, brother.
Have a good one.
All right, bye-bye.